Anne Boleyn had been dead for only 11 days when Henry VIII married the woman who replaced her. And less than 18 months later, that woman would be dead too, after giving Henry the son he had spent years destroying marriages to obtain. Her name was Jane Seymour. Born around 1508 or 1509, Jane came from an ambitious Wiltshire family and served both Catherine of Aragon and Anne Boleyn before becoming queen herself. By early 1536, Henry's attention had turned toward Jane. When he reportedly sent her money and a letter, Jane returned the money, insisting that she would protect her honor until she could marry respectably. It was an extraordinary position considering Henry was still married, but Anne Boleyn's world was collapsing. Anne was arrested, accused of adultery, incest, and treason, and executed on the 19th of May, 1536. The following morning, Henry was reportedly betrothed to Jane. 11 days after Anne's execution, they were married. Jane presented herself very differently from Anne. She adopted the motto, "Bound to obey and serve," and attempted to restore Henry's eldest daughter, Mary, to royal favor. But Jane discovered that being Henry VIII's supposedly obedient wife didn't mean she could safely challenge him. When she reportedly begged Henry to show mercy toward rebels during the Pilgrimage of Grace, Henry warned her to remember what had happened to previous queens who interfered in his affairs. Jane apparently understood the message. Then came the moment Henry had waited decades for. On the 12th of October, 1537, after a prolonged labor, Jane gave birth at Hampton Court Palace. It was a boy, Prince Edward. England celebrated. Henry finally had his legitimate male heir. Edward was christened 3 days later in an elaborate ceremony, but Jane was already weakening. Within days, she became dangerously ill, probably from complications associated with childbirth. On the 24th of October, only 12 days after delivering Henry's long-awaited son, Jane Seymour died. She was around 28. Henry was devastated. He withdrew from court and later remembered Jane with an affection none of his other wives quite received. And when Henry himself died in 1547, he was buried beside her at St. George's Chapel, Windsor Castle. Their son became Edward VI at only 9 years old. Jane had been queen for barely 17 months. She never received a coronation.